think taking 40 years or whatever
Yeah.
to build a business is a long time, but you'll spend 40 years at work. You know what I'm saying?
That's one of the biggest things.
That shit is like so real.
Selling your energy. That's one of the biggest
Exactly.
things. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your time.
Let's see, hands-free. Yeah.
This if they find you, or what's this thing for?
Oh, it's a callback number. Yeah. Say hello, Breyana.
Hello, Breyana.
Yeah, this is the second episode for season 2,
Ooh.
and I'm super excited, man. Thank you for being here.
No, thank you.
I want to say everybody that's watching or is going to be watching, I want to say welcome. Thank you for rocking with me this long. And if you've really been paying attention, you know that these bad boys are for sale. So
go buy one.
On. Yeah, please. You already got your 2.
I got mine too. I did.
So I appreciate that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So thank you, man. This is like, you know me. I'm very spontaneous. Hey, we do a podcast? Yeah, sure. When? You got time right now? In the next hours? I'm coming in from Alaska, so I ain't got much time.
Cool.
So
Sounds good.
Let's crank it out. I'll see you when you get here. I gave you whiskey.
You did.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers. To make it a little bit easier. Make it smoother.
Okay. So if folks don't know you, you're from Long Beach. You're a California girl through and through.
Through and through, born and raised.
Yeah.
Los Angeles County.
Yep. You went to school in?
Went to Lakewood High School, went to UC Santa Barbara for college, degree in business economics.
Okay.
So, money girl.
Yeah.
Don't play with money.
Definitely. Y'all gotta see the desk hands right here.
That made me have to strong arm you.
No, man, but I love everything she's doing right now with the real estate.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important.
It is.
Especially when it comes to African American community.
Yeah.
I think it's very important. I was doing a podcast earlier this week, and one of the guys I was talking to, activist named Sinai, like he's really into like not just and not to knock it, but the social media.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, not just big in just social media activism. He's on the ground, like he's showing up.
Boots on the ground.
Yeah, he's very much boots on the ground. And one of the things he brought up was that he was saying 60% of Long Beach rents, and of that, 75% of African Americans rent. So when rent goes up even $100, people feel it, you know. And for me, like I have a home, my family has, a lot of my folks in my families do not rent. So they rent or they don't own. And that always has set kind of weird with me.
Yeah.
I've never felt comfortable giving. And technically, I know people say, oh, I'm just giving it to a company. No, you're giving it to another family. And they're investing in their futures and everybody in their downline.
Yep.
And that, yeah.
I just feel like, you know, so the reason I got into it was exactly that reason, was because there was the statistic, which I'm sure you heard, that like by 2050 or something like that, that we'll have zero net worth. Like it's, I mean, it sounds far, but that's literally around the corner. Like we'll be there before you even know it. So I had always, since I bought my place 5 years ago, always been interested in the real estate and how it does change people's lives for the better.
Yeah.
You go from, oh, I want to buy shoes, bags, and clothes, to those things not being nearly as important, because you realize that same money that you spend on those items, although it be small, $5, $10, $20, can go towards actually making you more money in the future, and not just something that you'll not even like a month from now.
Yeah.
So that's really why I got into it. It's mostly about building net worth, about people having more money in the future than they already have, and investing. It's so important. But on that same topic, my mom owns, I grew up in a condo, I mean something small, but she owns it, right? Yeah. My dad just got his place back in March, so we got him a townhouse because he was renting forever, and I'm like, yo, you gotta get out of there. But the driving factor was he was put on a month-to-month lease. He'd been living there since I was in high school, so like 12, 13, 14 years. And it actually was the city that he lived in that got me to go to the high school that I went to, which got me to go to the college that I went to. So it was actually a great thing that he went there, and that's a part of the reason he did, was because the school district that my mom lives in was nowhere near as good. Anyways, we got him a property, and I mean, that's what my whole purpose in this is. I'm reaching out to all my family members who rent. Like, you guys, it's not making you any money. You're just making somebody else rich.
Yeah.
You're not making yourself rich. And a lot of people will say, oh, well, you know, I was sat next to a lady at the nail shop one time, and she goes, oh, well, you know, I just don't want to have to pay for, you know, if somebody has to come in and fix a light bulb. And I'm like, but you technically do pay for it because you pay for rent.
Exactly.
Like, but people don't think of it like that. They're thinking of it like, oh, I pay you to do something for me, when in actuality, you're paying somebody else's mortgage plus some in a lot of instances.
Exactly. And they're taking care of their investment. Them
Exactly.
coming in and changing up the tile or
Exactly.
you know, when they start doing small renovations and start changing up, like you should expect that rent's about to go up.
Yep, exactly. And, you know, I was talking to my mom today. You know, a lot of people, so I actually just wrote a book, Home Buying on a Budget. And a lot of people, when I looked at a lot of these websites that
What's
were
the name of the book again?
Home Buying on a Budget on Amazon. When I looked at a lot of the websites to do my research on, you know, is it better to rent? Is it better to buy? A lot of these sites are saying it's better to rent right now. And it's really sad because the reality of it is buying is a long-term investment. It's not something that you're, in most instances, especially in large cities, Los Angeles, New York, a lot of places in like Miami, Florida, Seattle even, you're gonna pay more in mortgage than you will in rent in most instances, unless you have the 20% down, which most people do not. But in the long run, you will start to see your return, not only because you're not paying anybody else's money towards their investment, but also because you are sitting on net worth. So we started off at 100,000, then in 10 years, maybe 180, maybe sometimes 150, right? Still 50K that you didn't have to do anything, but you're paying it down. So you took a loan at 100K, but now you maybe owe like 70K. So now you're sitting on like 80 grand in equity, which you will not have if you rent. Just period. It just won't. It will just literally be going down the drain.
And it's not like it even like helps your credit score.
No, that's one
like
thing.
that.
The mortgage actually helps your credit score so much because there are like, when you have a mixed use of credit, so not just credit cards, right? I have a credit card, I have student loans,
like a secured.
I have a mortgage. Those are, it really helps your credit score because it shows that if you can pay your mortgage on time, you can be up to date on your credit card payments, and you can be up to date on all these different credit lines. You actually have a better credit score when you have a mortgage. Surprisingly. But renting, no.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know people think that it's a big burden to have a house, and it is.
It is in some instances, yeah.
It can be a hassle. But I mean, a lot of that is just like, you know, maintenance. You know, just like what you have with your car. Your car can be very expensive. Transmission goes out, in, goes out, whatever. But I mean, if you're taking care of it and you just do a little bit of research, a lot of stuff you can do on your own.
People are so quick to go and buy brand new cars, you know, 40, 50K. And it's like, I have, you know, a client now who's like, oh, I just bought me a brand new Tundra and it's like a really good car. And it's like 48K. And I'm just, one, not only does it affect your DTI, your debt to income ratio, so you will not only qualify for a lot less, or less, I'll say, on a home, but two, any brand new car, especially a luxury car, you're not really seeing the return on a luxury car. Maybe like a Honda Civic, you know, you can see your return in the long run. But a luxury car, unless you buy a used, if you buy a brand new, you don't typically see your return on investment.
It's hard too, man. And I know Toyotas hold their value. A lot of Asian cars do hold their value, but at the same time, it's a vehicle at the end of the day.
It's made to get you to and fro, and that's really the most important thing. And, you know, I feel like as a society, we're really caught up on like, oh, somebody drives a Mercedes, they drive a BMW, they must be successful. And so then we go out and we do all of these things to look successful like them because we think that is the epitome of success. But the reality of it is, the success is wealth. I don't know do you remember the story that I told you about the guy who I sat next to in Starbucks? It was literally last week. I'm in Starbucks writing the book, and I sat next to him, and I could see he's writing an offer. So I was, hey, you know, hi, I'm Breyana, nice to meet you. And he goes, oh yeah, I'm a broker in the area, you know. So I started digging a little bit more. So how did you get into it? Yada yada. So I've been in it for several years. You know, I own 17 properties. Oh, okay. And he's
out here?
Throughout the whole country, but he owns 8 in Signal Hill and Long Beach. So that's still really
that's crazy.
Yeah. He said that he has $4 million in liabilities, but that on those liabilities he has $2 million in assets. So he's got $4 million in loans right now, like straight debt. But in the long run, not only is that going to be slowly chipped, you know, going down, and his equity goes up, you can't beat that. But the kill part is he drove a 2009 Corolla.
Right. It's comfortable.
Like that.
It's very unassuming, and you know it gets him from back and forth.
Back and forth, and it's nothing. I mean, you think somebody like that, 17 properties, should be driving a BMW, Mercedes,
Right.
but he's got a car to get him to point A to point B.
And that's not an investment. Like that a car is not an investment. A truck is not an investment.
No.
Unless you are doing, if your business involves you hauling something or
maybe even Uber if you want to throw that in there.
Yeah. Because that's like in a service industry like that, where it's like your car is a part of the whole image, it's part of the aesthetic, the experience.
Yep.
Then yes, okay. But if you're just working at a bank, and it's not working at a bank,
of course,
if you're working at an office building,
exactly,
and it doesn't actually bring you back anything, if you can't monetize, if that car is parked somewhere and it's not making you money, it is a liability.
Exactly. That's so true. So, you know, I just feel like people need to, as far as real estate goes, people need to understand the importance of owning. I feel like also what's happening now in California specifically, but across the nation is, you know, the rent control thing. And although I'm not totally against it, right? I'm not, they shouldn't be rent control. I do think what's going to happen is people are going to start getting more comfortable with the fact that rents can't, quote unquote, increase up to a certain percentage.
Right.
What's ultimately going to happen, in my opinion, is a lot of people, especially in Generation Z, the generation after the millennial generation, is they're going to be like, well, what's the point of purchasing a house if I can live in Santa Monica for $1,500 a month and it can't go up more than 5% a year, you know? But I think what's going to happen is it's going to cause a lot less people to invest and a lot few people to be investors.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense.
So like now, let's say there's 20 million investors across the nation that own property. It's probably more than that. Let's say 100 million, right? I feel like the amount of people who are going to invest is going to slowly shrink up because people are going to still buy.
Yeah.
It is going to be the amount of people who want to buy is going to be a lot less.
Yeah.
And then who knows what's going to happen when you have only a few investors like essentially lobbying, trying to get things done at Wall Street or at Capitol Hill. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just I'm trying my best, slowly but surely, to get people to educate people to understanding how important it is. Even I'm a part of these groups now, these investment groups that are like investing out of state, things like Detroit, Indianapolis.
Yeah, those are good places.
Exactly, because it's a lot cheaper there. You know, the thing is if you can't afford here, at least get something. Yeah. Something like a duplex out of the country, out of the state, that you can have. It can be $200-$300. If it's $100 cash flow a month, who cares? It's $100 more than you had, and that's for right now. Yeah. And in the future, it could be $500, $600, $1,000 a month. Yeah. So.
And that's a huge hit, man. And folks should take the time to do the research when it comes to that. Because I mean, once you get a house, and you put enough money into it, then you can maybe start borrowing against it.
Exactly.
And not anything extravagant. Don't get crazy and like double up on your mortgage.
Right.
But borrowing to get your house, and then all right, then you can use some of that money to upgrade it. So you want to change out the flooring, put wood floor in, get new tile in, new backsplash, this and the other, and you sit on it for a little bit longer and watching what the market does. Like, you can make that money back and then some, or you can take that money out, get you another house, rent that out.
Exactly.
Get somebody in there.
And I did a thing in the book about how much harder it is to get, like, let's say the standard house here is $500K, right? And across the nation is $484 actually. So roughly it's the same price, same across the nation. Imagine trying to save like $96,000 you'll need for the 20% down. Like, most people either can't get that, or they just, a lot of people could actually save that. It's just hard to do. Life gets in the way. Yeah. When you have a house, it's tied up. Like, I have equity now. I can't use that equity. I could, but like, I'm not gonna just go in the bank and say, I can go on this trip, or I can go here, I can buy this new car. It's tied up. It's money that you're not supposed to, it's an investment. Yeah. And so I feel like, people, in terms of like purchasing homes, it's just easier to get equity and money to buy another home when you already have something. Like, not every investment is a good investment. Yes, there are bad investments, but it's a lot easier to get money for another investment when you already have some.
That's very true. Very true.
Yep.
What do you think should, like, let's say 18 years old, I got all this knowledge, I understand I need to buy a house. What should I do? If I could have done things over again, I tell anybody now who's looking to get into investing, unless they have even if they have a family, but unless they have a large family, I tell them they should do a multi-unit. Yeah. Multi-unit is where it's at right now. And not simply because
Of the investment side, which is obviously the biggest factor, the majority of the reason is because the days of the single family home are kind of over. And what I mean by that is in impacted areas like Los Angeles County, New York City, obviously it's already been a thing there, Miami, where it's a lot of people, it's very densely populated, the days of the single family home are almost coming to an end in those areas because it's just, so my point is if you buy a multi-unit, not only are you helping with that densely populated issue, you are also making money off of your investment. Because like when you have a single family house, you're actually, some people, there's an argument going around saying that is it an investment if you live in the house? I don't know. Is it?
It can be.
Tomato. I mean, you know, I don't know. People see things differently. Because if you aren't making any money off of it, can it or is it an investment? I don't know. I see things both ways, but some people see things one way or the other.
Right.
So, but if you have a duplex, triplex, or quad, or obviously a 5-unit, so on, is for sure an investment because you're making money off that, whether it be, you know, the maximum amount or something a month. So.
And I see a lot of folks now. I had a conversation with them like, man, like if I could have done it, you know, just like you saying, like if I could have done it differently, you know, I would have stayed home as long as possible. When I started having kids, I'm not kicking my kids out of 18.
No,
because
me either.
That is one or two incomes that are going to make another family more wealthy. Like, no, you need to invest in this house.
Exactly.
We're going to invest in this house. We're going to invest in this family. We have to stop looking at it like we're these individuals. We are a unit. We're a team, and that's how it is.
Exactly.
And you know, even if you know getting enough land where like if my family out back on the East Coast and down south.
Of course,
we got more land.
A little bit easier there,
yeah. We got a lot more land. So it's just like, all right, cool. We'll build another unit. And then it'll be like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Yeah.
And then you can live there, still on the property or whatever.
Yep.
And then you pay that out until it's paid off. And then you can get a decent car. Not a crazy car, get a decent car. You're still coming back. The money's still going to the family. And then, of course, all of this is going to still exist. So I was like, all right, pump back into this night show stuff. Let's keep this thing going. You know, and then, you know, we'll fund other ventures. We'll have bigger guests on and we'll do all this other stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think every family should have some type of small business.
Oh,
if it's
100%
you know,
agree.
if it's like, oh, we make kombucha.
Yep. Brian Smith has a photography business, stuff like that. Yep.
Exactly.
Anything.
You know, anything.
Agreed. 100%. I mean, there's so many different ideas. But I feel like a lot of people get caught up on, oh, well, there's already X, Y, and Z out. Oh, there's already a McDonald's. Okay. I don't know about if I should go and make burgers. And it's like, but
curly fries instead of straight fries.
But when you think about it, do you think Jack in the Box said that? Do you think Five Guys said that? Do you think In-N-Out said that? Do you think? I mean, we can keep on going. I don't know. What's another burger joint?
Whataburger.
Whataburger. Okay. All of the. I mean, there's. What's the other one? The one that you that said that's the against the In-N-Out. The one that's on the East Coast mostly.
Oh, Wendy's.
No, the other one. Wendy's too.
Wendy's. Oh, wait.
It's like Shake Shack. Is that what it is?
Yeah, Shake Shack.
Yeah.
Shake
Shack. That's another one that didn't. I mean, they're relatively new in the terms of the burger game.
Here, yeah.
But they didn't say, oh, you know, there's already McDonald's and the Wendy's. I'm not gonna go create a burger. Just go create something. And honestly, if you could focus on any business, but if you could focus on need-based businesses, that is where you really like you have that long money, laundromats. I mean, barbershops in some instances. I mean, things that people actually need, and they're gonna. Yeah,
people that do like private trash companies, maid services, which I know a lot of people like. I ain't about to clean nobody else. Like, do you know how much money you can make?
Yes.
Cleaning somebody's house if it's just on the weekends and calling it a day.
Brian's friend had the maid that worked at his company because he worked for the company that does built the Ram stadiums. She had a contract with the Ram stadium to clean, and she was selling that business. And Brian was like, "I wish I had money to buy." I'm like, hell, you should have told me I would have bought it. I mean, I probably don't have enough money, but I would have tried. I would have found the money.
That's a lot of.
That's a lot of money to clean the Rams the contract and their office as well as other offices around El Segundo or wherever they are in Inglewood. I'm like, wow.
For their office, like you said, like their office buildings, and then you know who knows if it's like some of the players went like, hey, would you mind
clean my house?
Exactly. They're traveling all the time.
Yep.
But
I was like, I mean, just
that's endless money. That's endless money. Gardening, landscape work.
We can like keep on going. All the businesses that are so important that are need based. Because I mean, obviously, things that are other businesses are great. Every business is great.
Yeah.
Need based is like long money.
Yeah.
You know,
and it starts off it can start off very small.
Very small.
Very small. You know, you can find used equipment on eBay.
Yep.
You know, whatever. You can just get online, especially with social media now. I was watching a thing
with the internet,
Gary Vee.
period, but especially with social media.
We watched a thing with Gary Vee, and he was talking
love
about
him.
looking at it, right? He was talking about how the social media, and especially as far as ad space, is like real estate, and it's so cheap right now. You can go on Amazon right now and spend $100, and like in your local area. Say if you just had a laundry business, it's like like it's like a wash and fold business. Or like a landscape business, and you just took pictures of like lawns in your neighborhood. So you cut 5 houses in the neighborhood, and you took like 20 pictures, right? 4 pictures per house.
Yep.
And then you just put an ad out there for $100. Boom.
Yep.
Then people just like, oh, okay. And you set up your little site, your whatever, your little email account, put it up there, and it's like, oh.
Yep.
And you start having shirts.
It's true.
You need somebody else, and now you got 20 yards to cut. So then you might get to a point, if you had a day job, your day job might not be
paying you enough.
Yeah, paying you enough for your time. So
exactly.
It's like, I gotta quit.
Exactly.
I got 100 yards to cut. And it's $30, $40, $50 a yard.
And it's like, it's crazy, like how much money people can make off of just a gardening business. Yeah. Especially if you have one of those where you do like luxury gardens. Yep. Like, you know, you do like palm trees and like the rocks and all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah. You can make some serious cash.
Yeah, because then that's even more.
Then you can hide a lot of money. Yeah. You know, so a lot of people don't also get, like when you have a business, you can hide a lot of money in a business, especially if you're getting paid. Like say for instance, you know, I'm a gardener, and you know, Miss Jenkins and Mr. Joe and whoever pay me all cash. Yeah. I mean, I can claim it this week. I cannot claim it this week. Right. You know, and people, you know, and then also with businesses, you have a lot of ability to hide a lot of things in terms of like tax deductibles. I can write off everything that I purchase. Yeah. Can't do that with your job.
Yeah, it feeds back into because like your time. And I had to look at this, and this is stuff that happens when you meditating and whatnot, right? So it's like you have to look at it instead of like I got paid $15 an hour today to work 8 hours. I sold an hour of my life for $15.
Exactly.
And that is what you are doing.
Literally selling your life.
You are selling your life.
Your time. That is like the most expensive commodity because you cannot get it back. There is no rewind. Yeah. It's only forward.
I wish I could clone myself so I could,
me
because
too.
I'm already scatterbrained as it is. And it's just like I got too much stuff going on today. You saw me this morning. I was like, oh, I gotta get the website up. Yep. And I mean such and such, and we gotta talk about this, and I still gotta make sure that me and Breyana can link up so we can do this.
I know.
I got photo shoots to do.
I know.
Yeah, I was like, so I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
So you know, but I know all of this goes on. It goes towards something. Because right now, I can feel my phone buzzing. I know that somebody just bought 3 hats.
And you made money and you didn't do nothing.
Exactly. All I've been doing is having a nice conversation with a nice little drink with my friend. watching money go in.
Exactly. So like, and that's the goal. That is the goal right there. You ain't did nothing.
Like passive income. Like I create something and it makes itself valuable to me even when I'm not giving it the attention.
Exactly. Now, what is your take on Gary Vee's point that the only form of passive income is rental property or investment property at that?
It's investment property?
Like property that you have it rented out. Like that was his, he had an IGTV post about the only passive income is investment property or rental properties.
I can understand that, especially like when you get in like corporate rental properties.
Yeah.
Because a corporate rental property is like, you know, you own a building and you have X amount of businesses in there. Yeah. And they've signed a contract where like, oh, we're in here for 5 years.
Yeah. So it's like guaranteed. And if you get out of it, then it's a hefty fine.
Yeah. So, okay, cool. Y'all gonna have to pay me out. So it's all good. Yeah. And then I'll just have somebody else come back in there. Yeah. Because, you know, 5 businesses in there, I'm pretty sure whatever you are charging them, it's at a very competitive rate.
Than rental
and it's definitely going to be whatever the actual, you know, the mortgage is for that, for that location. Right. So, in that lane, I definitely can agree with it. Okay. It can only get upside down, I think, is when you start dealing with some homes where it's if you have like 1 or 2 or 3 homes and you don't have somebody in there, then it starts to become a liability and you got to spread it out. Exactly. But then now you got Airbnb.
That's very true.
So
exactly.
You know, is depending on the city. You got folks coming in, and all you really got to do is make it an experience in that house.
Yep, literally.
Even though people want to like go somewhere else, they can't wait to get back to that hotel room.
That's true.
And at night, they just want to walk in.
That's very
and
true.
Like, oh,
yeah,
it feels so good to be.
It's so true.
The AC blowing, and they just
nice
like
comfy bed.
Nice comfy bed.
Don't hotels got the best beds.
Yeah.
Most comfortable beds.
So it's like, oh, okay, So yeah, I agree with that. I do. From it, if you got your stuff in line, you could just be up,
I know,
feet up somewhere, just chilling.
I know. I know. That's the goal. The goal is to have a multi-unit next year, and then to have a few out of the state, because it's just so much easier. It's just a lot harder to get in. I mean, you can get into the game here, but it's just. You got to pull equity out of everything pretty much and flip everything. And, you know, sometimes I want to leave my equity sometimes. You know, I just want to leave that thing there and just, you know, just pay it off, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I got a buddy down in Houston I should put you on to. He's doing some stuff because he went from, I did a podcast with him last year, right before I went up to Alaska. And he was talking about, you know, the amount of houses he wanted to get, and it went from like he's at 6 houses to now he's at like 16 houses. Yeah. In a year.
It's just a lot easier. Does he have a group, or is it him?
He's got his family. His family's on board.
Yeah.
Folks will quit their jobs just to do this thing, man, and because it just makes sense.
Yeah. Complete sense. I mean, especially in a market that's booming as big as Houston, because Texas in general is booming, but Houston specifically, Austin, like the larger cities. I feel like San Antonio is the next one to kind of pick up the traction. It's already nice there, but it's going to be even nicer.
Yeah, 100%.
So, but yeah, it's just a lot easier to get in the game there. But it won't be for a whole lot much longer because it's already starting to creep up. Because demand is the reason why prices are so high. Yeah. It is what it is. People get upset, but it's just. If people are buying it at that price, you can't be upset that somebody bought it at that price.
Exactly. And I understand it's like, you know, all these folks coming in from San Francisco, California, and they're making insane amount of money. And they come in and they artificially inflate the market and then they leave and then
But you have to, I mean, like, okay, for instance, there was so in Long Beach specifically, the city we're in right now, Long Beach had an issue where they allowed all this development. This is one here we're sitting in. There's a property up around the corner from me. Yeah. A few, but are brand new.
Nice spots.
Nice, very nice places. But Long Beach allowed all this new development, and now they want to implement rent control. And it's like, the problem is like the city has to take account for the fact that it allows so much development to go on, because when people see development, everything around it starts to feel that the price points can be higher, and people start to feel that the price points can be higher because of that development around it. Because I see a lot of people in Long Beach who are looking to invest coming from Orange County because they can just not afford Orange County anymore. Coming from Hermosa Beach because they can't afford Hermosa Beach anymore. Right. I mean, it's not Hermosa Beach. Long Beach isn't Hermosa Beach in terms of like the beautification, but it's still relatively close to the beach. It's still relatively cool. It's a nice area, considering, you know, and so these cities have to take account for allowing all this development to happen and then leaving, you know, everybody else behind. And then people also have to take into account that when they see the development happening, jump on the bandwagon. Don't just let everything, you know, don't let the train keep going past you, and then when it goes super fast, you imagine you can't jump on now. Like the train 100 miles an hour now. It was 5 miles an hour 5 years ago. You could have jumped on the train, but you was talking about you didn't want to get on the train. So.
And it's just it's a good defense. You know, they always say, you know, best offense is good defense. And I think that's what folks need to think about, making sure that they set their savings up.
Yes.
Making sure they don't.
And you know what? You don't even have to have a whole lot of savings. And people, I was talking to a girl on the phone, and she was talking to me about getting a rental for her. She said, oh, you know, can you get a rental for me? And I need somewhere to lease. And so I'm like, okay. She's like, I have a few $1,000s in the bank. Okay, well, how's your credit? Oh, my credit's not great. Da, 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 da. I'm like, well, you know, you can buy something, right? Oh, I can? Yeah, there's programs that are across the whole nation that are no down, no closing costs. Literally, you don't need $0 for either one. And the interest rate's actually better than the national interest rate. And it's crazy because people don't think about that. They just want to rent somewhere, and then you got to put first month down. You got to put the deposit. It adds up pretty much. I mean, it's almost half a down in some instances. Not the whole thing.
It's like, oh, I got to give this apartment complex $4,000.
Yes, so exactly.
It's like, oh shoot.
Yeah, you can get. I mean, you may not be able to get a whole lot. But But you can get something.
It's good to start off with.
You can start off with a studio.
Yeah,
I have a client who bought a studio. I mean, it sounds crazy, but he's right next to Cal State Long Beach.
Right.
Hello?
Yeah, exactly.
He'll always rent that place out.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
You know?
Folks coming in the summer, Airbnb it out.
Airbnb it out. Exactly. And it's brand new. He don't have to do nothing to drop his bags. So, but people don't want to live in the studio. If I couldn't afford right now, I would buy a studio. Just because.
I mean,
something.
It's cheap. I mean, it's cheap. And it's there. Like, you do what you need to do there, and then it's done.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've been having a lot of thought about, like, what to buy, because I'm planning on trying to
you were telling me. You were telling me.
You know, trying to figure out, like, what to buy when I come back here.
I have a few locations that I think would be good for you, but you have to decide on what works for you personally.
Yeah. And, like, at that point, you know, all I really need is a space for the podcast.
Exactly.
And then everything else, you know, and I'll probably, you know, it'll be me and eventually my girlfriend.
Right.
And we'll figure out, like, how much space that is.
Right.
But, I mean.
And, you know, the days of needing a 5-bedroom, 4-bath house with 7,000 square feet is kind of almost over. Like, do you really need that much space?
Like it'd be nice to have, like, a yard or something like that.
Something.
Yeah, but.
But, I mean, you see how people live in Europe? It's, like, standard to live in, you know, a 3-bedroom apartment. You know, that's 2,000 square feet, if that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like maybe 1,500 with your 3 kids.
Yeah.
Like it's the norm there.
Yeah.
Here it's like a shock, you know, but we're losing land. We just don't have it anymore.
Yeah, and I think it's like a lot of rogue individualism is what pushes that. Like to the point where it's like you're shooting yourself in the foot. It's like you can't do this by yourself.
Exactly.
And going outside of your family network to try and gain wealth is a process.
Yep.
And I think now that I've gotten older, I realized that like I was for me, I was like, I felt like I was waiting for somebody to come along and like guide my family in a way where like, okay, let's get back on this mindset. And I was like, all right, cool. And that's not happening.
Yeah.
Screw it.
Yeah.
I'll just do it myself.
I know. Yeah. Seriously. Exactly.
You gotta be the one who, jokers.
I gotta be the blueprint. Man. And then once you start having things happen, then people wanna, I wanna jump in, and it's like, well, I've been telling you for years. I don't know what you've been waiting for.
Yeah.
And just, the most important thing, especially with the black community, is taking your money and making it work for you, not just leaving it in a savings account, because we are so bad at that. Like, oh, I got 30 grand in a savings account. Well,
it's not making you no money.
I mean, what is that? Like $3 a year? That the banks will give you? Is it even that much?
Yeah, right.
It might be $1.50 a year you get off of that. Because it's like 0.02% or something, 0.01% that you get a year. I mean, it's ridiculous. And they take that 30 grand and literally loan it out to car loans, business loans, and house loans.
Right.
And make hundreds of thousands of dollars off of it.
Exactly.
Off that 30 grand investment.
Off your 30 grand. I mean, all right, yeah, that's cool, but which is why you can only take X amount six times out of the year.
Exactly.
Take money out
right.
paying the penalty.
Exactly.
So it's just like, you got to be real careful with stuff, man. You have to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Because every day you show up to that building and you sell your hours away, it's taken away from the time that you have to invest in yourself.
Exactly.
That's why I see. I understand when people are being like, and they'll see like these childhood stars and they blow up and then they get all this money and it's like, oh, they're using their children, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, do you understand like how much of a lottery that is to have like a kid who's talented, regardless of what it could be. They could be a program, like a computer programmer or be a gamer, pianist, a good, an amazing
golfer,
painter,
tennis player,
super good at math, whatever it is, right? It's like, and then they start getting these contracts and it's like, okay, cool. In those situations, the first thing I would do is, outside of like paying off any debt, the family debt they have, is to like get some type of money manager. So to be like, all right, look, this is what we need to do. Like, we need to, like, their skills are amazing. We need to have a house that's reasonable, that regardless of where we live, whatever happens, that is untouchable and it cannot be taken away. So we need to take into account for property tax, state property tax, all that stuff. And that needs to be just gone, set aside and forgotten. And everything else can just be like exposure. Exactly. I saw an interview with Chad Ochocinco.
Where's he?
Yeah.
He looks, I almost didn't recognize him when he didn't spend any of his money, right? He wore fake jewelry. Is that the one?
So he's like, it looks all the same in the light.
It does.
It's like, it's rent, like, and jokers be walking around with rented jewelry all the time. And it's like, He's like, if people want to see the show,
Give them the show.
give them the show.
Yeah.
Like, it's part of your aesthetic.
Yeah, especially in the limelight like that. People
Entertainment, as an
That's what I'm saying,
entertainment.
entertainment, exactly.
You know, people want to chase and be all this stuff. It's like, they all want to be real. So you want to be real, then take that money you're going to make off your first couple of years, because being in the NFL or being in the NBA, like the average years is what, 4 to 7 years is the average.
And it's
career.
even less than football. Basketball is still, I think, baseball's the longest.
Yeah.
And I think basketball probably falls in between there,
Yeah.
but football for sure the
Football
shortest.
is short.
Yeah, yeah.
Without doubt. You know, people last a year
Yeah.
to 4 years and they're done.
They're done completely.
And then they blow their whole check buying a Ferrari out the gate or something.
And what's crazy is you know, Damon Dash, obviously, you know, Damon Dash. He had a video one time, and they was talking about how don't invest in the diamond jewelry, invest in the diamonds.
Yeah.
Like the diamond jewelry is not the investment, the diamond is.
Yeah,
and people don't think like that either.
Right.
Like, okay, you bought gold jewelry, cool, but the gold bar is where you have an investment, not the gold necklace.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, like, say, you know, whatever, a lot of these rappers, they end up having to sell it back.
And it's like he said, he bought $1 million in jewelry and he had to sell it back for like $2 million in watches. He had to sell it back for $200,000. Like, I mean, just like $800K just down the drain.
Right? It's gone.
Just gone.
How
Like,
upset you would be if somebody was like, here's $1 million. Psych, I'm about to take $800,000.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Spent...
You're right. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. This is a trap.
Exactly.
This is a straight trap.
So it's crazy. So just focus on investments, people. That's all that matters. You know, I don't even care if you buy real estate. I mean, I hope you do. I hope you use me. That's great. But if you don't, the most important thing is invest in the stock market, gold bars, new businesses, whatever. Just take your money and make it work for you.
100%.
That's the most important thing.
Breyana, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, tell the folks where they can get access to your book.
Amazon Kindle,
Okay.
Amazon.com. Home buying on a budget. It's great. I love it. It's short. It's a short read, but it gets straight to the point. It essentially shows how you can go in your specific area, because obviously I do live here, so it's a lot easier for me to find programs here. But it shows you how to go on HUD.gov and look up programs specifically to your state and to your county. Okay. So that way you can do your own. I've done the research for you, so you can go and do your research in your own specific area and find you a program. Get you some money back. Get you some money down. Get you a free house, something.
I'm ready to buy something from you right now.
Let's do it.
All right, y'all. Till next time.
Thank you.
Night show.